the top 5 guaranteed simple solutions to the world's / left's biggest problems today. So, question of the day before we move forward with this topic. Today's progressives often argue from a position of nuance. We hear that a lot. When I think there are some issues, yes, that are nuanced, that are more complex. But a lot of things, a lot of pivotal issues that we deal with have pretty simplistic answers. Let me ask you, what percentage of major issues would you say are nuanced and hard to understand, require a degree, versus having a simple answer? Put a percentage on it. I'd like to. I think it's about 60-40. I think it's about 60 are a lot simpler than people want to admit. 40%. People maybe need to learn a little more and read up on it. So number 5, the problem, AIDS, right? This was from the left. They said it was complicated. They issued out pamphlets and protocols, and they said, well, listen, this is with AIDS, and if someone has a cut, I remember they came to my school, if someone has a cut on their finger, just don't go near them and make sure that you're not, and it could be transferred by kissing, and we don't know. And I think it was, Oprah said 1 in 5 people by 1995 would have AIDS. Let's hear what they said.
To date, over 39 million people have died of the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Current drug therapies mean it's now possible to live a normal lifespan with HIV, but that's expensive and not a long-term solution. What we really need is an HIV vaccine and a cure. So how close are we?
I heard those vaccines make you retarded.
Fishing's an expensive hobby too, but people get over it.
Get over it. Solution, how do you not get your statistical risk factor of getting AIDS in the United States is 0 if you are not having unprotected gay sex with strangers and shooting heroin. So how do you not get AIDS? Solution, stop having eightsomes. Number 4, a problem, unplanned pregnancies. It's political football. This is, remember Hobby Lobby?
Yeah, every time they got in so much trouble for that.
This is the thing, though. They tell us the world, this is nuance. It's nuance. The world is a place you can't control. Things happen that are unplanned, and the psychological ramifications for the mother when are unplanned, and the deal with giving up adoption. And Barack Obama said, he even said that he didn't want his daughter to be punished with a baby if she had an unplanned pregnancy, so we need Planned Parenthood, we need taxpayer-funded birth control. And then, by the way, you wouldn't complain about abortions if you really, we need taxpayer-funded health care across the board, along with education and along with health care, because if you really cared about unplanned pregnancies, you would fund all of the things, because you're not pro-life, you're just pro-birth.
In Washington, some politicians are trying to defund Planned Parenthood. But what does that really mean? Millions of people come to Planned Parenthood for healthcare services like birth control, STD tests, cancer screenings, and sex education.
By the way,
schools aren't doing that.
Pap smears, yes. Never had a mammogram machine, for people who don't know. They slip it in there and they talk about, like, people think, well, breast cancer. No. They've never had a mammogram. So what's the solution to unplanned pregnancies? By the way, I need to clarify here. I'm not saying these are solutions that everyone's going to like.
No.
But I am saying that these are surefire, simple solutions.
Guaranteed to work.
This one? Spoiler alert, don't have sex. Number 3, a big problem right now, for some reason, with our generation, freedom of speech. Just hear Vox tell you about it.
Twitter's harassment problem is out of control, and it's changing the way we talk about free speech on the internet.
It's changing the way you talk about free speech on the internet.
This one's really, yes. with your lisp. By the way, see number 5. Solution, took a while.
Pro tip.
Shut it off. Shut it off. That's it. You don't need new algorithms. You don't need, the whole fake news argument becomes.
In fact, that costs you less money.
Remember they used to say this when actually a lot of people don't realize this was spearheaded by Tipper Gore with the video game ratings and a lot of people thought it was just the Christian right, but it was actually everyone at that point, where they were trying to ban all the things. I think Joe Rogan said, nerf the world, right? And they used to say to conservatives, if you don't like it, shut it off. Well, it's the same thing here. You have more control than ever. Just shut it off. Yeah. By the way, while we're talking about social media and not shutting it off, hit the notification bell, because you don't mean anything apparently on YouTube, or join Mug Club. That's where it's $99 a year, $69 for students, veteran, active military. Get to watch the show every single day, a full hour. Otherwise, enjoy the live stream Thursdays at 8 p.m. Number 2, this is a problem here. Transgenderism. This is one that today, this is really a solution in search of a problem. So you hear this all the time, right? It's like, okay, well, hold on a second, the suicide rate is through the roof, and there are complications with the gender dysphoria. We need to change the DSM-5. The body, it literally tries to close the wound after a reassignment surgery, and it's very nuanced. This whole thing is very nuanced, along with hormone replacement therapy. It could be developing cancer because you're injecting estrogen directly into your ass, and we don't know the long-term ramifications. Okay, what's the solution? You're a man. You're a woman. Doesn't mean not sympathetic, but that's the solution. Accepting reality.
The real problem with transgenderism is that we weren't We didn't have the balls to tell people the truth in the first place.
They don't either.
And say, no pun intended.
Depending which one. Some of them have 4.
Look, it depends on if they're pre-op or post-op, okay?
Yeah.
No, we just didn't have, and we weren't compassionate enough to tell them the truth in love and say, hey, look, this is a mental thing. Like, you can't go this route. And
Yeah.
but I feel like liberals also opened the door, and now everybody is walking.
Well, and a lot of people are going to
Every
say,
group.
you're making gross generalizations here. Yep.
Yeah.
And just so you know, people go, well, I see everyone as, aren't you conservative? Don't you see everyone as individuals? Of course I see people as individuals, but we are talking about the isms here.
Yes.
Leftism, liberalism, progressivism, and conservatism, libertarianism, federalism, constitutional. So I'm not saying all people, of course, anyone who sits in a guest chair, I'm going to judge as an individual. People try to they do this with gotchas, and I've seen it on liberal shows, like, I thought you see people as individuals. No, listen. We're making generalizations about an ideology. Just like if I talk about communism, I'm not saying every single person who lived in Soviet Russia. I'm talking about the Communist Party. It's okay. It's an ideology. And the number one problem, of course, that brings us to, like I said, you're not going to like this, but these are the surefire solutions. It's not up for debate. Climate change. Right? So what are the carbon emissions right there? Increasing, the CO2 is building up in the atmosphere, and there was the ozone hole, but then it's kind of closing, the greenhouse gases are building up, and we're killing off the planet. Just hear Bill Nye tell you.
Very likely caused by human activities. That means you and me. And since the Industrial Revolution, we have come a long way. Humans built airplanes, faster cars, developed remarkable technology, and learned how the natural resources around us can be used for our benefit. Although this has led to many wonderful inventions and advancements, like the device you're using to watch this video, or the ability to take a plane halfway around the world, it also means we've increased our consumption of natural resources and in turn released a lot of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere.
I think Brodigan thought we were going to fix that in post.
We're letting it stay in.
No,
Yes.
it's not that kind of show. But I know what you were about to say because we were talking. He's saying the exact same thing that we're saying, only to him it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
He's just going, let me say the exact same thing. In that time, we've created planes and electricity and the polio vaccine.
And refrigeration.
And we've extended your lifespan. And your mom doesn't have to die now because of a head cold or because someone got the flu. And you don't have to have 9 children because 4 would get kicked by a horse because of modern transportation. No, I was there at the Cancun Climate Summit when I remember Ted Turner was there and he was talking about enforcing China's one-child policy. The Kyoto Protocol then became the Paris Accord. There is no law on the books right now. You cannot even find people who advocate for these laws that can show you any completely verifiable, discernible effect that they would have on global climate change. You think China's going to play by the book? We can't control what the rest of the world does. But again, I'm not talking about climate change, whether you agree on the catastrophic man-made climate change or not. I am talking about climate change. Let's accept it point blank. Okay, it's a problem. What's the solution? You heard Bill. There's only one. Kill all the people.
Usually this is the point where I would tell you to subscribe or hit the notification bell up there because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot on YouTube. But if you haven't signed up now at louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub for all the daily content to support us, there's not a pitch I can make here that'll work. So let me just tell you this. I have a cat in my basement right now. If you don't subscribe at louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub,